What's going on, guys? Stefan, S&E's Garage. We're going to be taking a trip down memory lane today. We're not going to be working on anything. We're not going to be doing any how-to or tutorials or anything like that. We're going to talk about what got me into Toyotas, what was the car that did it for me, and more or less how I came to liking the brand so much. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So without getting too personal here, I didn't have the traditional upbringing of a mother and father raising me. I was raised by my grandparents, two sets of grandparents. I was raised by my blood great-grandmother, and I was raised by my adopted grandparents. And that's a story for another video, but growing up, my grandfather always leased cars. It's just the way he did it. Every 3 years he'd get a new car, and most notably, he leased Camrys. And about the time I was getting ready to turn 16, his lease on his 2005 Camry that he had with the 4-cylinder was just about up. And we were going in. I always used to go with him to look at the cars. I used to love going to the dealerships. And we were looking, and I stumbled across a 2008 Camry, magnetic gray, the same color as the Camry that we have outside. It had the 50th anniversary wheels, which are the same wheels I have on that car outside. But, and this is a big but, it was a V6. And my grandfather was a 4-cylinder fuel economy guy, typical mid-70s guy, didn't really care too much about power. But I begged and pleaded with him, "Grandpa, I'm going to be driving this, come on, let's get the big engine." And it worked. So we ended up getting that car. I still remember his payment was $268 a month on that car for a 36-month lease. Like I said, I was with him every time he bought a car. And at the time, I was 15 years old, getting ready to turn 16, getting ready to get my learner's permit. And I hadn't really been in any fast cars. I went to my other grandparents' house on the weekend, and that was really the only time I got to get off of the island, because I grew up in Seaside Heights. I rode a bike to school. I didn't really have, like I said, a mother or father driving me to school, taking the bus. When I was in elementary school and middle school, I was riding my bike there. Middle school, actually, I did start taking a bus, but that was the only time I got off of the island. So when we brought that 2008 V6 Camry home, that was the fastest car I had ever been in. And I still remember the first time he put his foot down. And that car, for what it was worth, threw me back in the seat. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I learned to drive in that car. Like I said, anytime I was with him on the weekends, he would let me drive. And it was a lot of fun learning to drive in that car. And when my 16th birthday came up, my great-grandmother that I lived with during the week gave me more or less a blank check. And she told me, "We're going to take you to the car dealer and you're going to pick out a car. But there were 2 rules. It had to be under $30,000, and it had to be a 4-door, and it had to be something safe." So from learning to drive in my grandfather's 2008 Camry and realizing how much I liked it, the choice was easy for me. So we went to Gateway Toyota on Route 37 in Toms River, and we picked out a black-on-black 2010 Toyota Camry SE V6. I still remember we got it for $27,671. I still remember that to this day. I'm going to drop some pictures of the car. I still remember the day we got it. I was 15, my birthday was in a month, and that month of that car sitting in the driveway absolutely killed me because I couldn't drive it. And that was really the car, that 2010 SE V6, that got me into Toyotas, that got me into modifying cars, and it really kind of set me on the path that I'm at now. You see what I have sitting behind me. You see what I have outside. I own Toyotas. I've always owned Toyotas. I had a Mustang. I had a Subaru BRZ. But I always had a Toyota for a daily. I always had another Camry. So from the day I started driving, I've always been behind the wheel of the Camry. Now, a Camry, even back in 2010, was not the most mod-friendly car. There wasn't a whole lot of aftermarket support for that car. But everything that was available for that car, I did. I dropped that thing 5 inches maybe on Megan Racing coilovers.
What's going on, YouTubers? Just a couple of you guys been asking for updates on the Camry and everything. Here's what I've done so far. Well, since the last time you've seen me, I put it on Megan Racing coilovers, dropped it about 3 inches. So I mean, if you look, it's pretty damn low. It's tucking tire in the front, and it's tucking a whole lot more in the back. I got new wheels sitting at home, so I actually rolled out the fenders with a phone book, which is probably really not the best way to do it, but it worked. Sitting out, you have an idea of how much I'm talking. Let me just pop the hood. I'll show you what the top of the coilover mount looks like. Radar detector also. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the WeatherTech visors yet either. I don't really remember if I made a video of that or not. But here's the top of the coilover mount. It's got camber adjustment up top. And also it's got 32 levels of damper. I have it set on 4, which is 0 stiffest. So, I mean, they're pretty stiff. They're up there. Here's the one on this side. I mean, that's basically what it looks like on the top. I would get under there and try and attempt to show you, but like, you really can't fit much up there. But I test fitted the new wheels, and when I would start driving, it would rub on the inside of the fender. So later on this weekend, when everything dries up from all this rain, I'm gonna end up jacking up the rear. And I've heard that I can get up to -3 degrees camber in the rear. So I'm gonna loosen the bolts on the knuckle and try and camber it out as much as I can and throw the wheels back on there. But other than that, she's running good. She's got about 40,000 miles on her right now, I think. If I wanted to be exact, it's got... yeah, 39,242. She's still running strong. If you... And also, it's not a definite yet, but my boilers back here might be for sale sometime in the near future. I have them listed for sale on Toyota Nation just in case, anybody's interested. I'm just gonna give it a little rev so I'll let you guys hear it again. So yeah, if anybody's interested, they retail for about $600. I'm willing to let go of them for about $300. Plus, I'll need your stock mufflers, but I'm sure we could work something out. If you don't want to give them to me, we can figure something out. But thanks, everybody for being loyal subscribers. Always, asking me how I'm doing. The only reason the emblems aren't on right now is because I have them at the body shop getting painted, because they keep chipping when I paint them. So going to be painted black. That should look real nice. And everybody, you have a great day. You have any questions about modifying your Camrys or anything, definitely let me know. I'm probably one of the best people to ask. Have a good day.
That thing was low. I put it on XXR 522 wheels. I had stretch tires on the back. I did a cold air intake. I did a ultra racing strut tower brace, same type of strut tower brace I have here. I did the Southeast Toyota Borla axle back exhaust with a resonator delete, similar setup to what I have here. Now that car had the 2GR FE, which was the 3.5 liter V6 that this car is based off of. So going into it, when I bought this, I already knew sort of how things were going to sound when I did them. And that's why when I bought this car, I had already known exactly what I was going to do for it. So back to what I was getting at a little earlier, growing up in Seaside Heights, New Jersey, which is a resort town. It's actually the town that Jersey Shore was recorded in, if you've ever seen that show. I'm sorry if you have. But as a child there, as a kid, I was stuck on that island. You know, I could ride my bike anywhere I want on the island, but I couldn't get over the bridge into the mainland. So when I got that car and I got my license when I turned 17, that car was like my ticket to freedom. And I drove the hell out of that car. Numerous times, 120, 135, 140 miles an hour. It actually topped out at 137, I remember that. I put 98,000 hard miles on that car, and it never skipped a beat. I think I had to get the axle replaced under powertrain warranty once because it was clicking. That was after I lowered it. I put it back to factory ride height and brought it to the dealer for that. That's right. But that car never skipped a beat. It took an absolute beating from a young 17, 18, 19-year-old kid, just flogging it every chance I got. And that just kind of showed me that, you know, Toyota makes a nice car. You can beat on them, not do a whole lot of maintenance, and they just keep going. I mean, I changed the oil on that car every 5,000 miles. I took good care of it. It was my baby. But that was the car that really did it for me. That was the car that got me into cars, got me into wanting to be a mechanic, and got me to where I'm at today. And I owe that car for the person that I am today. I regret trading. I traded it in for a 2013 Scion FRS. I regret that to this day. I should have kept it. It was great. I'm going to drop some pictures of the car and the different stages that you know, I've modified it at throughout this video. And you guys can tell me what you think. Comment down below. What was your first car? What did you learn to drive in? And do you still own it? I hope you still own it if you do. Because that's one thing I wish I still had that car. But thank you for tuning in and watching this. It's kind of, like I said, a trip down memory lane. That was the car, or the two cars that got me into Toyotas, got me into modifying cars. And I have them to thank for the person I am today. Like, share, subscribe. I will see you next time.